His last lap was a 123.4. His best lap so far in the session is a 122. Oh, 0.7, that won't improve either. As he hits wide, goes through the gravel, finds a bit of grass, and just about gets away with it. That's turn 3.
Wow, look who's last, though, in 20th place. Mauro Engel. I think he was waiting to the end of the session, and is that someone else enter the barrier as well?
Performance.
Yes.
Lamborghini has gone off.
Is that Nicky Tim?
Nicky Tim, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
That's at turn 2, isn't it?
So 2 cars into the barrier, and I think, well, it looks like Mauro Engel has improved a little just as the flag came. 3 of them there, aren't there? But some big names at the moment in the bottom half. The likes of Kelvin van der Linde in 12th, Thomas Preining in 16th. René Rast has been promoted to 9th on account of Nicky Tim's time being deleted, but that's further back than he was planning on when he got out of bed this morning.
Think about René Rast coming past, I'm afraid to say Ben Durr as party company with his left rear wheel, the Pirelli shod wheel, heading down the start-finish straight. Ben Durr safely off the track, though, and the wheel's still going. Well, the wheel's done more of the race than he has, so it's now coming back onto the track. They may need to throw a quick full course yellow here to get rid of that, particularly if it comes back on the track. Go right, go on. But Ben Durr, well, that's after the pit stop, so maybe some kind of failure, but keeping an eye on that wheel because the rest of the pack are going to be coming through soon. It's Jack Aitken who'll be onto the pit straight first. Now, and only into turn 3 now goes Jack Aitken. You saw something flying off as he came around the corner. It looked like maybe a wheel nut or something flying off into the gravel, but it was turn 14, the stresses of that. And it really did do a fair... Okay. Marco Wittmann almost collected it as well, Dean. We're just getting used through as well. He did just apparently get into the pit lane. Just tried to go through on Lucas Stoltz. There was contact, and as soon as he got tapped there, he was on the dirty outside line. There's some contact behind as well. We're going to get a spin. Maximilian Powell is sent off into a spin, I'm afraid. Jack Aitken, I think, was caught up in that as well. He's just gone off shot, and they're stranded in the middle of the track. You can see Sheldon van der Linde. Yes! Oh, no, it was Jack Aitken, and he stopped out. It's about to go wrong for Jack Aitken. Very wrong on the way into turn 3, the left-hander. There's Maximilian Powell to the right, somewhere either just behind him or to the left was Sheldon van der Linde. A case of 3 cars trying to squeeze into one corner. And... yeah, of course, Sheldon was right behind that. But I think Lucas Auer's got damage as well, from what I can see. It was quite a scrum there going into the corner. Yes, it was Lucas Auer who clipped Jack Aitken. I think he has lost the right front corner of that Mercedes, the yellow Mamba, getting damaged there. Max Powell, of course, as well. So that is another car that may well be affected by this. I think actually Sheldon van der Linde looks as though he might have escaped without too much damage. This is the view now from Lucas Auer. Oof, bye-bye front wing. And lots of carbon fibre and debris on the track as well. Yeah, Lucas Auer or Sheldon van der Linde were really involved in that, were they, in terms of triggering it, but they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's why Sheldon got caught out. So Sheldon is... they're heading into turn 3. They're the leading pit stoppers. But Kelvin van der Linde's strategy working so far. He's catching them up as they get their tyres up to temperature. Oh, there's contact again. The Mueller is sent around and contact with René Rast. And the Dutch driver spears into the barrier and spears out of the race. The Ferrari is gone. What a terrible day for Emile Frey Racing. Smoke from the back as well. It's on fire. Yeah, we need to get extinguishers down there. That was a big impact with the barrier. Please see Thierry Vermeulen's okay.
I mean, I have to say, after the pit stop, some drivers, they were fighting for positions, even with cold tires, and we were even out for more than 2 laps, and now we was pushed out by René Rast, and it's complete disaster for us like this, because they should let us do our job like we do for the others, and for us it's very bad to lose both cars.
It looked like a big hit with René Rast, but your driver got out of the car. Thierry seems to be right. That's the most important, right? Yeah,
the most important thing is the driver is okay, and so we can, at least on that side, I'm very happy that Thierry is injured and not injured, sorry. And let's hope. I mean, all the damage we can repair, and the rest, we have to see and analyze.
Jörg, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Back to you.
Thanks, Verena. Yeah, just been watching some replays of the incident while we were hearing from Verena. So Thierry Vermeulen got the inside at turn 2. You're about to see midway through this corner. The Ferrari come alongside here. Well, maybe not, but he is there. And then there he is, right. And then on the curbs is René Rast. And then the pair of them come together. And spearing across the front of the BMW was the Ferrari, Sheldon van der Linde. Just about that. Here's a replay of the pit stop. They knew straight away, didn't they, that they hadn't got it on. Oh, no, I mean, he hadn't even started to put it on. No,
it's lucky he actually stayed on to get the car as far as it did. You can see the wheel nuts on the ground there. He drops it.
It's dropped off the jacks before it even
goes to pick it up. And, disastrous, absolutely disastrous, and making no comment about that, but clearly some issues with the pit stop, both cars with those failures, and that was a little bit close to the wall. I think he might have collected a camera somewhere out there as well.
Minutes and a second to go, and just lost the back end coming out of turn 7. Back end switched around on him, and that was, he almost actually carried that car all the way through the gravel trap, in which case he might have been able to get going again. They've all been having moments, because it is tricky. You try driving one of these things in these conditions. Doing well just to keep it pointed in the right direction, but you just get it slightly wide, and that grass is very, very soggy now and has zero traction. Ricardo Feller has also come into the pits, albeit a lap after everybody else. So I don't think that left anybody else.
That's the replay of him, but in front of him was that Attrition, who's also there as well. Another unsafe release, this time Sheldon van der Linde under investigation.
Now we can head down and get some news from the pit lane.
Now let's talk to Abt. I'm here with Martin Tomczyk, and Martin, that kind of, the sky just kind of opened up. I think nobody was really expecting it. I guess everybody was surprised. So I know you were just looking at the weather, so what do you think?
But nobody said it was easy, the DTM. This is Attrition diving up the inside of Jack Aitken all the way to turn 6. There's some contact, and he sends the Ferrari around. So the driver's second in the championship tipped into a spin there, turning left and right just to try and stay in a straight line as we get a replay of this clip. And it was a fairly hefty clip, wasn't it, on the back left corner of the Ferrari.
So more video for the stewards to have a look at. Sadly for Mirko Bortolotti's last lap was about 7 seconds slower than our race leader, but he's still trying to get the heat into that. That was the view for Jack Aitken, a fairly depressing moment when you see the scenery spinning around you. That was the view from the perspective of Luca Engster. He'd have been quite happy about that.
That's why I had to go straight at the end of the straight and twice, and before I come there with 500 kph and hit someone, I'd rather stop and go home in one piece.
All right, safety first. Thank you very much, Nicky. Very unlucky, but back to you.
Thanks, Farina. A real shame for Nicky Tim. That's 3 retirements from his first 4 races of the season now. Replays of bumping and boring with Lucas Auer and Christian Engelhardt. And while we were just hearing the back end of that interview with Nicky Tim, you saw the reason why Clement Schmidt ended up in the gravel trap. 3 abreast with Thierry Vermeulen, who tried to go at the inside of Christian Engelhardt. The number 7 car of Feller, and he got him into the next corner, not without a bit of contact though. There's some contact involving Lucas Dolst. It tipped off into a spin. Was that with Max Powell's Lamborghini? So into the gravel trap, 2 cars at the moment. That's at turn 7, and they're still in the gravel trap. Then into the side of the Mercedes, wasn't it? So no, he didn't get.
Maybe. I wondered whether he'd had a little help from Marco Wittmann, but maybe not.
Just lost it on the inside, didn't he?
But that Mercedes in front of him is proving tricky to pass. His teammate, well, he might be a teammate in name, and Marco Wittmann, well, that's a proper spanking of the wall as he comes out of turn 12. I think he's left our camera in place, which is good news, but a big thump on that BMW wouldn't have done it any favours.
And making up a few positions at the start of the race already, but there's been drama with Clement Schmidt and Lucas Auer, who have both made contact with one another on the run-up through turn 5.
As we look here at a replay that maybe traction not as good, maybe cars getting together. We saw the plume of blue smoke in the background. We're going to find out what happened. It was a helping hand from Sheldon van der Linde to Nicky Tim. But the drama had already unfolded up front. Lucas Auer looked to be in trouble already, to me.
Yeah, smoke coming from the right corner, right rear corner of the Mercedes. So whether that had already happened earlier or whether that's just 2 separate incidents, it might be actually. They come to grief at the same point. Poor old Attrition found the road blocked, didn't he? The Porsche had to stop the car to get around it, but he managed to do so. Look in the background. No, I think they're unrelated incidents, although he's been looked at by the steward. He's got a problem, but maybe it was as a result of something else. There we see to the right of the picture the McLaren.
Yeah, they're
separate incident. Yeah,
because Lucas Auer, it looked like the smoke just started appearing. He might have had a bash on that wheel earlier in the lap, but suddenly the smoke started appearing all on its own, and he suddenly slowed. Right.
And he's going nowhere. So this might be another caution period.
So yeah,
it's just gone on its own, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like he's spun on his own fluid there, actually.
Yeah.
And if there's a clutch issue, maybe it's clutch fluid coming out. Safety car has been deployed.
Yes, you really don't want to be across the track at that particular point, do you? On board, he'll be like, oh, I just think there'll be a sinking feeling in his stomach. He keeps it out of the barrier. Well, he doesn't keep it out of the barrier, but he keeps it reasonably to the side anyway. And having another look here. Fortunately, Luca Engsler doesn't get involved either. So, yeah, there was a bit of an impact. Take that back.
I mean, there's it's not really any runoff at all there, is there? No. I'll tell you what, though. Better go off at that banked corner than the other one. So if you'd gone off at turn 14 or even, you know, turn 7, that would have been serious.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it looks spectacular. It wasn't a pleasant ride, but that's actually one of the slower exit corners, that. So this is what it looked like on board. Oh. Comes out of the banking. It's just going to snap away from him now.
Looking back as well.
Yeah.
Dirt.
Straight to the barrier.
Congratulations to him. He won the Spa 24-hour race. Does that Mirko Porter? No, that was Nicky Tim going very wide out of the course and personal with the concrete walls. Thomas Preining doing something similar, giving it a little bit of a kiss, more of a snog really. And the Porsche, they build them strong at Porsche, don't they?
I think that was on the verge of being less a kiss, more a headbutt.
I'm looking outside now. The rain is absolutely teeming down. And there is a massive crack of thunder overhead and a flash of lightning. There was a massive crack as the number 7 car connected with the barrier. Clearly frustrated about that. And of course, this is going to have implications on the points championship as we look again at his contact with Jack Aitken. Both of these drivers very much in championship contention.
Unfortunate for him, Franck Pereira, he did a great job on subbing at Norriswing to get a podium. This is a replay on board with Thomas Preining, who was right behind the spin initially, all the way around. Thomas saw it coming, though, and managed, of course, then to gain a place. Just got on the curbs there, I think, didn't he? And 550-plus brake horsepower, even on wet tyres. You get on those curbs and on those white lines, and it is ultra slippy. Here's the replay at the end of lap 1 of Guen and Vermeulen going side by side all over the curb. Isn't he? Has he had an off there for? I think he probably has. Here's a replay, and yeah, the back end of that McLaren was very loose. He spins right across the bows of his teammate Ben Durr, and yeah, just as he got on the gas on that McLaren, which has got more horsepower beneath the right foot than any of the other cars in this challenge. Had a big sideways moment as well. I think it's because of the gravel that was brought back onto the track. So he caught up to Nicky T. He just ran us slightly wide, 2 wheels on the grass, and it understeered off through turn 6, and there's only a narrow strip of grass before you get to the gravel trap, and you're on board with the driver that's right behind the pair of them, and can Engine Guen fend them off? This is a great pit stop if he can. No, there's contact between him and Nicky Tim, and Nicky Tim is sent into a spin. Guen spins as well. Jack Aitken rubs his hands together and says, cheers, lads, comes through and takes both positions. Nicky Tim gets going again, but will tuck in behind Marco Wittmann. Here, though, at the same turn is the replay of that incident. Guen just out of the pitch, trying to hang on to his place. Tim around the outside. Guen just understeers on the fresh tyres and just clips the left rear corner of the Lamborghini, which is tipped into a spin. It doesn't take a lot of contact in these greasy, slippery conditions, and the cars lose the back end very easily. And Jack Aitken, this is on board with him, watches it all happen, darts to the inside and picks up 2 very valuable places. Taken the pace off, and he says it's so close out there. If everything's not exactly perfect, you are way down the order. It's just coming into the final quarter for Sheldon van der Linde, just understeered off. I tell you what, he was on for a much better grid than he's going to get with that lap. Leads the charge down towards this first gear corner, but Marco Wittmann's made a good start. He's at the inside of Ricardo Feller, trying to come around the outside of everybody is Sheldon van der Linde. Marco Wittmann has got second. Van der Linde around the outside, and there's a spin there for Lucas Stoltz, yeah, from the second row of the grid from contact. Very good start initially for Marco Wittmann. Here it looks like the green BMW is going to get second place, but look, around the outside, just throwing caution to the wind, was Sheldon van der Linde. There was the contact with Luca Stoltz, and yeah, it was contact with Kelvin van der Linde, wasn't it, on his right rear corner that sent him around. A real shame for Luca, because he'd qualified really well in 4th place. He's down to 17th. The only good news is he's got them all backlined in front of him now, thanks to the safety car. He's a replay of the contact. He kind of got sandwiched between the two Audis, didn't he, actually? Because he was...
And this is the view from Kelvin van der Linde. So this is significant. Into turn 1, and you can see Sheldon on the outside. And, well, he did get sandwiched a little bit with the Lamborghini, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. It was just all concertinaing up, wasn't it? So
coming from the car, and he had no traction at all, did he? That smoke, bit of a telltale sign. This is a view of it again, and just see the back just going on the car, and the smoke pouring from it, and it doesn't look good for the Mercedes, does it? And good job by Jack Aitken. Was that just behind him to do a bit of avoidance? The pit window is going to be postponed because clearly they'll...
And I think he's going to lose a place to Maro Engel. What happened? Was there contact?
Yes.
There was contact. Engel tried to carry the speed around the outside. Rast clipped his right rear corner. Both of them will complain about the other one, but the fact is 2 cars did not fit into one. Let's hear what René Rast thought of that.
Man, you can't do it. What should I do?
Real shame after a good day yesterday and that 5th place finish for the driver, 7th in the championship, and it was the right rear that parted company with the Mercedes, and straight on he went. And again, it could have been at a worse place, that, Brian. If it had come off on that huge quick run down into turn 12, for example, that would have been horrible.
Yes, that would have been very nasty, but the wheel bouncing up into the air. The granny went spearing off into the gravel. Our first retirement of the race.
Yeah, Arjun Maini under investigation for unsafe release from the pit, which sort of backs up what you were saying about that. Seems to be 1 add 1 equals 2. Thankfully, the tyre barrier did its job in defending the marshals there behind the marshal post from that tyre. It bounced back off and landed in the gravel trap.
He's more than joining it, he's challenging René Rast along the pit straight in towards turn 1. The BMW appears to have more horsepower, but now Rast with a little kiss inside of Jordan Pepper into Marco Wittmann. Both cars into the gravel on turn 1.
Cannonball into the back of Wittmann, his teammate, due to going into the back of Pepper, both in the gravel. There is a safety car as well as a result of this. Damage to the front of the Lamborghini, damage to the back of the BMW, and the safety car immediately deployed. Happily, Jordan Pepper out of the car. Let's hear on team radio from Marco Wittmann.
Fuck, is he an idiot? No, man. Whoa, no. What an idiot.
I think that's Jordan Pepper trying to explain to Marco Wittmann, look, it wasn't me, mate.
Yeah,
I got hit. I got hit into you. Marco, at the moment, with the blood boiling, doesn't want to know, doesn't want to engage in the conversation. That was on for a good result, and Marco's absolutely fuming. That was a big old hit, wasn't it?
It was. It done all the hard work. It made up that track position. It'd be good to see a replay of that again, actually. But, you can see how angry he is. I think he's probably just going to sit out on the bank for a while, let himself cool down, and we'll have a chat about it later.
That's a very brave marshal.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
No. Short shrift. Just give me a moment, will you? He says, Marco Wittmann, please. Very hard. And he wouldn't have seen that. He wouldn't have expected that at all, would he? He just came from nowhere. Let's have a look then. René Rast tries the move into Jordan Pepper. Marco's a car and a half length clear. Marco just sees this gold Lamborghini coming into him. So you can understand why he's annoyed with Jordan Pepper, but when he realises, when he sees the replay, he'll realise that it wasn't Jordan, it was Jordan being cannonballed into him after the hit from René Rast.
And to make matters worse, of course, Rast being Marco Wittmann's teammate. Rast will argue that he had his nose in the gap. That really was a snookering of the gold and black car into Marco Wittmann, wasn't it?
Yeah, a massive hit, wasn't it? Look at the back of the BMW, and that's a big, strong car. But main thing is that both drivers are okay, because that could have been pretty horrible. Yeah, you're absolutely right. René his argument will be, look, I got the inside, I was going for the move.
This is not part of the mandatory stop. This is going to be on top of the mandatory stop as well.
No, I think Clement Schmidt, if that graphic was right and he's on the slick tyre, he's going to be rubbing his hands here, and that was why the Decra advertising hoarding was completely obliterated. And they actually lost 1 place there to Anjan Nguyen, and having nosed in front of him initially into turn 1. There was contact between Nicky Tim and Luca Engstler. Luca Engstler then got a little tag as he got out of shape from René Rast, who's been battered about at the start of the lap. Looking back there, that was the contact with Thierry Vermeulen who's on
pit straight. Having another look here into turn 16, and it looked like it was a bit late on the brakes, and you can see that is the aforementioned drag strip, which
ice
has
rink,
no...
isn't it?
It is, and I even try, when you walk on it, it feels like you're walking on ice. I'm not exaggerating, it is that slippery. But yeah, he's got straight back on it. He's out there again. Here we are on board. Oh, this is a replay of the same moment. What happened there? Did he just brake too late, or what?
Understeered a bit, didn't he?
Yeah,
just understeered a bit. Nothing major really. And any other corner, he'd have been absolutely fine, I think. But once you get dragged into that, it's, as you say, incredibly slippery. And the Mercedes is up to 4th place. But he's had a moment as well, and that sent him off into the gravel trap. Just about missed the barriers, and again it was just understeering. Look at all the stuff he drags back onto the track there, all the gravel that comes back on. So same corner, but he got away with it.
And the gravel last part, honestly, it's unacceptable. This grip, something is wrong with the tyre. I don't know what.
So he's buried the BMW into the wall, and just got the back end of that. Once you go offline there, that's a drag strip, which Brian was explaining earlier on. He's like ice, like an ice rink. You go off there, it's still wet off the track as well. And what did he do? Oh, it sounded like he got a wheel in the gravel, didn't it?
Didn't it?
Just went a bit wide into the corner.
I mean, fortunately, it didn't look like a too heavy an impact. It was big enough, but not enough, I think, to terminate his weekend. I'm sure they'll just drag that. This is what it's going to look like from his wing mirror, which I think survived, because I think he hit it with... did he hit it with the wing mirror side? That is the side that he hit it with, but... yeah, it wasn't a massive impact, but certainly enough. You can see he actually tried to drive out of it.
Once again, he is about to come out of turn 17. There was some contact between Nicky Tim's Lamborghini and Jack Aitken's Ferrari earlier on as well. That was at the Sachs curve, and that put the British driver out through the gravel trap, which is why he's tumbled down the order a little bit as well, down at the moment to 15th place. It was a fair bit of contact, that, wasn't it? Nicky Tim muscling through, Arjun Maini taking advantage of that and getting past the Ferrari and past the Lamborghini as well. So Arjun out to 9th place overall.
15th place, having another look here into turn 1. Marco Wittmann onto the inside and challenged Clemens Schmid for that 13th place, and now he's on team radio.
I mean, this needs to be a penalty for speed. He pushed me off to hit T3.
These tyres already up to temperature.
Oh.
What's this? A replay of Ricardo Fella completely missing the corner there as he understeers off. That's going through the Sachs curve on cold tyres at the end of his first lap.